Whole tire went off the truck and went into the thing. I said, "Dear God." I said, "Where are you and I'll meet you?" He goes, "The guy behind me stopped and said, 'Son, you're lucky.'" They drive these jacked up trucks. He said, "You're lucky you didn't flip this truck."
Uh-huh.
I got there, got the dogs out of the car because he's got the German Shepherd. And I said, "What are you doing now?" He said, "Well, I got my tire out of the ditch. Alex is coming to help me." And I said, "You two boys stay off of the road. Somebody will kill you," because they were changing. He said, "When we get the tire back on, we're taking it to the farm." And they did. They fixed it that day because they're good mechanics. But it's just, you can't be on the road
Whoa, big
where
boy.
it's so dangerous, or pull way off.
Well, what it is, people are too occupied in doing other things. They're distracted. Well, they liable to be putting on makeup going down the road. They liable to be having sex going down the road. Anything.
Listen, when the kids were in school, I used to bitch all the time, and because we took them to a private school. They never rode the school bus, so I drove them. And I said, "Hugh, you don't understand how these moms are so aggressive in their SUVs, like to race to the school, and they're eating cereal in the car." And so finally, when he retired after he had cancer. And I said, "Hugh, instead of sitting around here watching Fox News and moping and shit, you do the school. You take them to school.
There you go.
Do car line."
There you
He
go.
learned how the moms were. He said, "My God,
Man,
you weren't
I'm gonna
kidding."
tell you something. There's some soccer moms out there
He
that's
took
running in 15 different
Honey,
directions. That's got 3 or 4 kids. I'm surprised that they got the energy to do what they do. You know what I'm saying?
Yes. And look, and he got up. They got up for my husband, because I'd say, "I'm not walking up these stairs one more time to get y'all out of bed." And they're spoiled rotten. Look, I'd heat their clothes up in the dryer, and they'd say, "Mom, go heat them up again. We're not ready to get up." Get the hell up. So he bribed them every morning. He said, "Baby," to my youngest, "Baby, if you get your ass up, we'll go to McDonald's." They went to McDonald's every morning before school. And I was getting up, making them homemade
You
waffles.
found something that'll get them up.
Yes.
Something
But
that they like.
Here I was getting up at 5 o'clock. I still get up early, making them homemade French toast or waffles or pies, because they loved coconut pies. And I said, "Look, they were brats." I said, "Hugh, most kids are eating a Pop-Tart in the car, and their mom's eating cereal driving." And he laughed because it was true. And I said, "And our spoiled brats are saying, 'Well, I'm not eating that because we don't have any powdered sugar.'" Well, I got your powdered sugar.
Yeah.
And he said, "Kelly, honey, quit being the drill sergeant with these kids." And I said, "But we will be late." And he learned. I said, "If you're 5 minutes late, the door's closed.
Yeah.
And then you have to go in the school.
Right.
And I'm
It ain't like it used to be. You know, back whenever we was going to school, you could pull up at the school and have a truck with a shotgun or a rifle in the back glass where you could see, and everybody and their brother know. Well, whenever Johnny gets out of school, he's fixing to go squirrel hunting, or he's fixing to go a deer hunting. Or he's going.
Look,
You pull up in a school today and they see a gun,
No, Hugh, listen. And
you probably have SWAT called on you.
My husband hated, he said, so much August and September, because they got out of school to pick cotton. I mean, they were out.
So
had to pick.
tell me a little bit more about Hank. Hank, how did you bump into him the first time? The first time.
Okay. The first time I met him.
What, did you go to a concert or
His
something?
office. No.
Okay.
I went into his office.
Well, you know, he sold that piece of property up where
I don't know.
up here. He sold that piece of property up here.
Oh, his wife. They were split up. They lived in separate homes, but they were still married. Like, he lived at the farm.
I wonder what that property up here brought.
The farm is by my house.
It is.
His farm is on.
Does he spend any time up there?
Yes. What's the farm? That road, Rabbit Creek Road.
Okay.
Back this way. But
Okay.
Hank, no, this was crazy with Hank, because I went in his office. I said, "Damn, I have passed this place since 1989 when it was a club." And I said, "When we got married, we had our honeymoon at this house. We had a reception
I'll
at
be
this
darned.
house."
I'll be darned.
I said, "My husband took off with my sister and brother-in-law. They were drunk, and they went to a bar in 641. It's still there, but it's closed. It was called Kathmandu, and
Over in Kentucky?
yes,
Yeah.
they went to Kathmandu, and then my aunt said, "Where? This is your honeymoon. Where did he go?" I said, "I don't even care where he went, as long as he's having fun." And then she told my other relatives in Michigan that Hugh took off with my sister, and I didn't care.
So tell me a little bit more about your dad. You said that he was a professor.
Yes,
What school did he teach in?
Arizona State.
What was
we
his?
lived in Texas.
What was his name?
Dr. J. Richard Jones.
I got a friend that's now an investigator that was a teacher that taught in Phoenix
Really?
at the time,
We
and
lived in Tempe.
I bet you he probably knows that
We
guy.
lived in Tempe.
Okay.
But Dad was smart. He taught marketing and
Did he?
transportation. But before we moved to Memphis,
He made some really good investments.
Yes. But did we see any of them? Hell no. My stepmother didn't even tell us he died. And I did a well care check on Dad.
Oh my God.
He moved to Texas, and I had to call the police.
Oh my
And I
God.
said, "Would you check on my dad? His phones are cut off."
How long's he been gone now?
He died in 2017.
That ain't been too long. See,
But
see, you're
like I-
getting a double whammy like I did.
But
My,
like I
my,
told- hey, when he died, my sister was like, "We didn't get anything of Dad's," and I said, "Kim, we don't need anything of Dad's." She took care of him after Mom and Dad got divorced.
That's right.
They were married longer than Mom and Dad, but Mom and Dad had 4 of us. But my mom passed too with dementia. And it was
So you
just
got brothers and sisters.
sisters. But I said, "Kimmy, we don't need anything of Dad's. We don't need it. It's okay."
How old was he whenever he passed?
78.
He was a hard hitter too, then, wasn't he?
Yeah. But he was smart. I hate that he passed away. Like,
Was
my
he
mom and
religious?
Dad-
Was he religious?
yeah, but Mom and Dad, after their divorce, like, she never got over it. You know,
Well, sometimes they don't.
she was bitter.
You know, there's 3 things that destroy a person's life, and they all base around the 3 H's: heartaches, habits, and hang-ups.
Yeah,
Heartaches
She never.
will
never
destroy
really-
a human being's life. Habits will destroy a person's life, or
I felt bad
hang-ups
for
will
Mom,
destroy a
and I
person's
tried
life.
to give to Mom to what she didn't have, and she didn't have to worry. When I met my husband,
What
he
did
said-
she do?
She stayed at home.
She's just a homebody.
Yeah, and I said, "Hugh, when
Are you the oldest of the 3
I'm
other
middle.
sisters?
Middle.
You're in the middle.
But I stayed, when I met Hugh, and it was true, he said, "Kelly," I said, "Mama doesn't want me to move out and move in with you because I help her pay the bills." He said, "We'll pay her bills." He said, "Tell her you only get one mom." And he said, "My mom's gone, Kelly, but we'll take care of her till she dies, and she don't need to worry
What
about
I was
that."
going to say is I lost my brother, my only living remaining sibling, in 2017, and now just a few years later I've lost my only child, my
Where
son.
do you ride the bike? Here?
I just now bought this. I got lucky. I found it in Murray, Kentucky,
I
up
like
there
Murray.
at Walmart for $300, and these are $700-800 bikes,
Is it the,
electric.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it's electric bike.
I want one.
It's got a battery on it, and it'll go for up to 20 miles on one charge.
I want an electric bike.
They're up at Murray right now. They've
Yeah.
probably got about 3 left, or they did last
I
night.
don't know anything about them. You just charge
You
them
charge them up, and you get on them, you go. And if the battery runs out,
When they first came out, I told Hugh I wanted one, and back then they were like $1,000.
yeah.
And he said, "We walked."
I'd call before I went up there to make sure that they still had it up there. But you can get them right now for $300.
God.
That's a deal.
Are they marked down? Or
Yeah, they're marked down, and the reason why they got over inventory with them. They got a bunch of them. They just want to get rid of those old ones. Well, but $300, that's a good price.
This is how tired I was last night. Honey, I was in Murray. I took big blankets, quilts to the laundromat in Murray last night. I went to Panera to get a salad, something called a green goddess salad. I left all my stuff at the laundromat in the dryer, and I still haven't called the lady up there. She knows me because I usually take big king-size blankets.
Hopefully nobody walked out with it.
I forgot to even call her this morning to say, hey, chick, because
Well, guess what I run into?
I forgot my
Guess what I
cards.
run into
What?
yesterday? I've got chronic problems pertaining to old injuries and etc. So I take quite a bit of medication, and plus the government poisoned me up in Kentucky because of some dealings that I was having with Land Between the Lakes, and put me on a drug called Risperdal and made me swell up from 240 to 340, and I got as high as 367 pounds after my brother died. COVID hit, a state of depression hit me, and I just couldn't get motivated.
Oh, my God.
I couldn't get motivated, and I was steadily dying. I mean, if you're touching 400 pounds, you're on your way out.
I'm huge.
You're on your way out. But guess what?
I had cancer.
I weigh now 200 and
I am too fat.
I'm
Look, right
230.
here. There's my port.
I got you.
I had cancer, and I told the doctor, I went Monday, I said, I'm too damn fat. Up here, Dr. Harrison, retired.
Well,
Dr.
you know what?
Coleman.
You know what's caused me to lose my weight?
What?
Mounjaro.
I asked
The
him.
shot.
I asked him,
Because I
where do
become
you-
diabetic.
He told me Monday. He said, honey, you're not a diabetic, and the insurance won't cover it. It's going to be $1,200, but I can give you a savings card. This was Monday. I said, the cancer, the steroids, I laid in bed for a year. I said, help me. And he called in something called Zepbound.
Yeah, I've heard that.
But the insurance, they're waiting for the physician. I called him back. I said, they're saying it's going to be $300 or so a month. I can't afford that right now. And he said, I'll call in something called Reliance or
I've heard that. I've heard
something.
that.
I don't know. And it's pills. It's not a shot.
Well,
But where
I
did you
went.
get
I went to
yours?
the. I got a good diabetic doctor in New Bern. I ain't from this area. I'm from Martin, Weakley County area.
Okay.
But I found a good one at New Bern by the name of Miss Presley, and she put me on some good time relief metformin to where you didn't get it all at one time, because it got to the point that I was having to wear almost a diaper.
My husband was
I
on
didn't.
that.
I didn't know what was gonna whether or not I could hold my
Hugh was on
metformin.
Yeah.
Metformin's a bad.
He
It's.
was on it a long. We don't have any of it left.
I guess it breaks
because
down.
then-
It breaks down all the sugar content
then
in your
he
body.
He was on something else. Xarelto was his blood thinner, but then he was on.
What I'm.
I didn't know what was wrong with him, because look, we were up here one day and I said, Jesus, we can't walk. You've pissed your pants. And he said, no one's up here. And I said, stop, because it was from his crotch down to his ankle.
Yeah.
I said, what the hell? And he goes, I said, that's prostate problem, Hugh, but you've always had an enlarged prostate. But his twin just died the 2nd of January, which they were all mad at me. She had dementia because I didn't call and say, hey, Hugh passed away. I didn't even tell them. But one cousin called me and said, is it true Hugh passed away? And I said, yes. And she goes, can I call everybody else? I said, you don't need to be the parrot announcing everything. And she's just real Mississippi. I said, you don't need to tell everybody. They should be calling me, checking on him.
Have you taken notice since COVID has hit? Death has become a predominant figure. You're hearing
They
people
said
people dying now.
But they said, look, we were positive. I didn't know. I was up at the hospital in the bed with him, and I said, move over. This bed's too small. I was sleeping with him. And then I said, do you have the energy to push my fat ass out of this bed? Because I'm stuck. We had the COVID. When they called me and said he passed, they said COVID. I said,
I had two good friends that
Oh,
died of
God.
COVID. I had two good friends that died of COVID.
and that was the end of September.
And right now they got another deal going on that's almost at the level of being a pandemic with the flu right now that's killing people.
Dear God, I wish you could get me that fat drug.
It's called Mounjaro.
But do they? Why does
They
this
start you out
doctor-
on a small dose
but
and
this
then they go up.
doctor-
But you got to have a doctor to say, hey, you're a diabetic to
He
get the
won't.
insurance to
He
cover.
won't lie. And I said, he goes, Kelly, I'll see you in 6 months.
If I'm not mistaken, you can
6
you can
months?
buy it for about $60. That's good for a week, but that's every
Yeah.
week. That would be 60, 120. That'd be $240 a month to be able to lose excess weight. But I've lost over 130 pounds, and I feel like a completely different person.
Today, see, and I use the
I'm down to 230.
I use
230.
the
I never thought that I'd see 230.
I'm afraid to tell you what I weigh. When I got on the scale Monday at the doctor's office, I was like,
You
oh
probably weigh
my
about what, 220, 230?
No, it was 194. And
Okay.
I'm like, holy shit. I've never weighed. My mom would, if she was alive, she would be like, how big do you want to go? Get Kelly, because you're starting to look like the family in Oklahoma, man. Because our families, look, if they ever drill, baby, drill, our land has oil on it. And my sister's, she does not like Trump at all. And I said, Kimmy, we might not see the money in our lifetime, but the kids will. Shit.
Anywho, I tried to get a prescription because whenever the first of the year, everything changes, right? Even though I'd contacted my insurance and I asked them, I said, is everything the same? Oh yeah, everything's the same. It ain't the same. Whenever I went up there to get my daggone medicine yesterday, gonna have to shell out almost $300.
Yes.
So it ain't the same. I get, and you know, this is the scary part. I got a good friend in Mississippi that's got 3 mentally challenged children.
Right.
2 of them are really, really bad. If they miss 1 dose of medication, they become super, super violent to the degree
They
that they don't know who they are, what they're
They
doing.
can.
Well, if you got all these families out here that's got all these problems and they've been
Yes.
basically hooked on these medications, and now you're going to tell them that they can't afford it, you realize what kind of problem that we could be staring at
Yes.
in the next 2 or 3 months, pretending to people hitting the streets and being crazy.
That's why I'm up here, because Memphis is so crazy.
Oh, Memphis is wicked.
I hate it.
Memphis is wicked.
My kid, I said, he's going to come up tonight or tomorrow. And I said, Andrew, close that house down. Come on up here. Close it down.
I went down.
Neighbors
I
watch.
went down. Danny Thomas Boulevard,
Oh.
all the way down into Horn Lake, Mississippi. And this was in the daytime now.
We're the wrong color.
I'm gonna tell you something. Whenever you stop at a red light, I was constantly
Yeah.
looking because there would be someone walking over here, someone walking over here, and I was just sitting there, just basically ready, just to basically run the red light if I had to get away from them in case I got carjacked.
I know.
And that was in the daytime. Could you only imagine if you go down there at night?
I know. Look, and your Honda's a good car. He bought that when the gas, diesel, our trucks, we got the King Ranch, all this shit. Diesel went up so high. He said, I'm getting ready to have these boys park all these damn big fucking trucks, and mine's getting parked, and we're getting small cars. That gets such good gas mileage. I'm so happy he bought that. He got it used somewhere, but I don't care, because it's been the best car.
But if your company right now is in the middle of limbo, good luck to you, because I guarantee you,
We're closing. It's closed.
I guarantee you, these hotshot attorneys, it's nothing but vultures as
They
far as I'm
are.
concerned.
They are.
They will try to nickel and dime you to death if they know that you got some money.
Listen to what happened. They know our money.
Yeah.
That's why I'm like, Andrew.
Yeah.
And he goes, Mom, this is what I went to Bank of America. Went in the bank. They know me. And she goes, come on in the office and sit down. What's going on? I said, Hugh died. She goes, we need to put notice on the company account and close out the checking account. I said, well, we had 2 checking accounts, but I need one open. And she said, okay. She goes, the company account, he took all that money out and invested in the company in Texas. She goes, but there's $55,000 in this account. I said, I know, I put it in there. I said, but give me the date when I put it in there, because he was up here in May. I went home on Mother's Day.
This was before he had his episode.
Yes, and he, okay, I put the check in there, because he was up here, and he goes, babe, what are you doing? I said, Hugh, this check needs to be deposited, because it's been sitting here in the mail. I'm just going through the mail. He said, go deposit it. So I did. So the attorneys, look, my son, when I closed out that account, the lady said, you're the wife, what do you want me to do with this money? She goes, I can give you a check or we can put it in your checking account right now. I said, why'd the damn truck stop up there? Look, the big 18-wheeler on the other side.
I don't know.
Please don't jump, dude.
I don't know.
It's on the other side.
I
like
see him.
Coming towards.
I see him.
Damn.
I don't know.
I mean, people are nuts. Maybe he's having
Well,
trouble. Look, but this is what happens.
Homicide and suicides right now is off the freaking charts.
I blew a tire one night right about where he is. Look, I'm driving. It was in this car. And I'm talking to my kid on the phone. Coming back from bingo. Bingo's fun as shit. Over in, it's called the Bingo Barn.
Where's that at? Dover?
In Guthrie, Kentucky.
Oh, okay.
Clarksville. Fun. Every Sunday I love to go. So Andrew goes, Mom, what are you doing? I said, I'm coming back from the bingo barn, but the damn car keeps pulling to one side. I don't know what the hell's wrong. He goes, keep rolling. So I said, I'm so afraid, Andrew, I can't hold this on the road. I pulled up here and pulled over into that state park on the other side. The tire blew. He came back and changed it. He goes, you're lucky. But back to the money. She goes, what do you want me to do with the money, Mrs. Wright? And I said, leave it. Because if I take it, this is company money, and then I'll have to pay it back when probate settles up. And money goes fast in our family. So I said, I can't afford to pay it back. Leave it where it is. She goes, well, at least we've made notice that he's deceased. I said, and Andrew said, thank God you didn't take the money because it's got to stay where it is until all this is settled. And I said,
And you knew that. You knew that.
I said, thank God. I said, Andrew, for a minute, I almost was like, well, hell, I need the cash right now. And thank God he wanted to be cremated. Do you hear what they did to us at the funeral home?
No. What?
They try to sell you all this shit. It's a money-making
Oh,
joke.
there's no doubt about that.
He wanted to be cremated. He said, Kelly, you take me, put some ashes on my brother's graves and out here at the lake and some at the farm lake.
Well, you know, you can get cremated for what, $1,500 to $2,000?
We went the cheapest way. I said, I don't.
Because if you go just the cheapest funeral now is probably about $10,000.
We haven't had a service. I didn't even put an obituary in the paper because if anyone knew us, which most accused friends are dead, like everybody I know. One called me the other day.
Where did he go to school at?
Germantown and then UT.
Okay. Well, see, and he was associated with the construction industry. Everybody and their brother knowed him down there.
Look,
Had you ever heard of Brundage and Bone?
No.
That-
One of the guys that came to work for us when he was 19 years old is building everything in Nashville. The big high rises.
Really?
McMurray.
Okay.
McMurray Construction. Holy shit. Tommy went big. But he, I don't even think he knows that he was gone. But one of our superintendents called me. He called yesterday. He goes, I'm VP of the company. And I said, damn, Jerry. I said, we're trying to figure all this out. I said, I was secretary treasurer. And then he took me off as officer. And he said, Kelly, I'm so sorry he passed. And I said, me too, Jerry. This is horrible. Because he was good to all the employees.
Well, can I give you some advice?
What?
The hole and the hurt, the hollowness that you feel right
Yeah.
now in your gut, it will eventually, part of it will go away. It won't all go away.
Right.
But basically you learn to accept it and you grow around that hole.
Right.
Because that'll be a special place in
this is
your life
horrible.
that has affected your life.
When I met my husband,
You really did love him, didn't you?
yes, when I met him, my friend had been killed in a car accident coming to pick me up. And he had his two brothers got killed in different accidents. But he goes, honey, I understand the hurt. I said, no, you don't. And he said, yes, I do. He took me out to the cemetery where she was buried. And he said, my brothers are buried in Mississippi. And I said, what happened to them? He goes, Kelly, we were building in Longview, Texas, and my brother had a horrible wife in Memphis. He said, my brother found out she was running around and got in his airplane and said, I got to go home to Memphis. He said he took off and waved his wings at me. He said, I begged him not to fly home. And the story is from his twin sister that he crashed in a storm. Or
How about all the aviation accidents that we're having
or the
right
weather.
now?
Yeah, the sister said the weather was bad. My husband said he crashed that plane intentionally.
Let me ask you a question. Is that fog in behind you, or is that a
It's the
cloud?
weather. No, it's
Because
fog.
they're saying that some bad weather's coming in this afternoon.
Talk about bad weather. This house, I had to let the insurance go. Then the boys called and said, "Oh hell no, Mom, we got the money. I said,
What, you
State
got hit
Farm,
by
a tree or look." The kids took over. They said, "We'll pay for it. You've got to have insurance on this house." So I said, "I've had enough." But back to my husband.
He didn't tear it all to pieces though,
My
did he?
husband's
You
brothers-
just had what,
No, it's
$20,000
okay
damage.
now. The house is
But
insured.
but it's not like that it tore it all to pieces.
No, the house is fine.
Yeah.
But I was worried the storms are coming in insurance, and they said we'll cover it.
How
And they
about these
did.
insurance companies? Hey, you talk about
A
cold blooded.
scam,
You talk about cold blooded.
a damn scam.
Yeah. And now it's coming home to us pertaining to our home health.
But my
Just like
husband-
me, having to be out almost $300 for prescription medicine that I ain't never been out a penny on. I'm not fixing to have to get on the telephone and call them up and find out what's
my
going
stuff-
on.
Look, my stuff. When I picked it up Monday, I'm on 2 blood pressure medicines, an antidepressant, and Xanax. Because if I wasn't, I would be crying right now.
I got you.
So he said, just stay on this, it'll help you, so you're okay. And I said, thank you. So that was $80. And I said, if you don't use my insurance and use GoodRx, it was cheaper than going through my insurance. So I'm like, go the cheapest way, please, because I don't have any money.
And
right now.
Big Pharma, they ain't nothing but drug peddlers, you know what I'm saying? And now everybody's gotten hooked and addicted to all these different drugs. And now all of a sudden the government's going to tighten down and the insurance companies are going to tighten down. And it could very well, become chaotic.
It's a lot. But back to my husband's story about his 2 brothers. And to the day he died, he said, I wish I could have one of them back. They would be running the company. And he said, I would trade Sis in a minute because his sister was really worthless. Like, she was okay, but they were twins.
Mm-hmm.
And she just passed away. But thank God, because she was bedridden. She had around-the-clock care, just laying there. Her service is Sunday.
I got 2 people right now with stage 4 cancer. I've got a cousin that hadn't gotten sick a day in her life. She was 68, and
That's young.
it was 78. She went to the doctor, and within a week she was dead. Cancer.
Oh my gosh.
1 out of 2
But at
men.
least
1
she's
out of
not
2
a
men
sober.
right now. The statistics: 1 out of 2 men are getting cancer, and 1 out of 3 women right now are getting cancer.
I had
Cancer's
it.
killing us. So
I was-
what's taking us out?
I
What's taking
was-
us out? I
I
want to
was
know what's
the only-
killing us. What's killing
I
us?
was the only one in our family that had cancer.
What's killing us?
Food or some weird shit. I was the only
Monsanto? Is it the farmers that they're
one.
spraying?
No,
Is it the air?
I was the only one that had it. And I didn't believe I had it. And I did. It spread to my lymph nodes.
Back up a little bit. Let's let this car go through. Come on, sir. Come along.
But no, my husband, a lot of everything.
That's a nice Chevrolet truck right there, ain't it?
It is, and that's one thing my son said. If Steve would answer this call about his being beneficiary, that dude would be driving a new Duramax.
I guarantee you that one right there probably looking at probably about 80 grand for that one right there.
God, he's going to go off.
I guarantee you he's got 80 grand right there.
My husband always had new trucks.
That's an 80 grand truck right there.
And then he said, Kelly, I'm never buying nothing new again. Last truck he bought was a Ford King Ranch, and he said, I would never buy another new vehicle. But the company paid for it.
Let me
You know what? This is one thing that happened.
look here.
That one brother, what is it? What is that?
That goes on that bike.
Oh, okay.
That's the
I
battery.
need to learn this.
That's the battery. And it will go up to 20 miles
I need
on one
I
charge.
need a bike. But I am too money broke right now.
Hey, $300, that's a deal.
Yes it is. Yes it is. Because then I would stay active more.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I've got to do something.
Well, good luck to you.
But see, look, Hugh's one brother.
Is there anything, I mean, I like to minister to people as far as doing humanitarian work and stuff like that.
Yes.
Is there anything that I can do for you as far as praying for you or anything? I mean, are you religious? Do you believe in
Yes,
Christ?
Just pray for us.
Okay.
Because you know what?
Everybody's.
That night, look, the night he passed, he got out of the hospital Monday, went back Tuesday. I said, hey, I'm going home to get some rest. He died Wednesday morning. That night, I got home and I got in the bed and I said, God, I can take care of him with your strength. I can do anything. But I'm tired and I didn't know I had COVID. I said, tonight I didn't even know where I parked the car at the hospital because I've been coming and going so much and they have a big parking garage. And I said, God, but he's tired too. He's worn out with being hooked up to stuff. And I remember you telling me Daddy was hooked up to so much.
There's a whole lot of things that's a whole lot worse than death, isn't it?
Yes. But he said, Kelly, Daddy was hooked up to so many things that he looked like an animal, and I don't ever want to live like that. But I said, God, he's tired, and it's your will. And I got the phone call when I woke up, he had gone. He had passed.
Yeah.
And I hope
Which was a
didn't
blessing
suffer.
in disguise.
I hope he didn't suffer. The man at the funeral home, I said, I don't want to look at him again. I want to remember him the way he was.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he said, he looks just like he's asleep. He said, honey, I've been in this business long enough to know he didn't look like he suffered at all.
Yeah.
I said, thank God.
I doubt if my son, whenever he went over that crest and all that traffic was backed up, I doubt if who knows, God may have went ahead and taken his spirit or his soul from his body before the impact ever hit.
That's so sad.
It is at the age of 46, and all he was doing was trying to advance and better his family.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? He wasn't like he was a drug addict or a hobo or something. I mean, he was really a pusher because
Did you look at the bike on the computer and then headed up here to pick it up?
No, I got lucky and just went to Walmart and there it was.
Dang, I need to go over there and just look.
It's at
But
Walmart
you live
in Martin.
You live in Martin.
I live at Martin.
Said, honey, I haven't been to Martin since my sister went there.
I had to buy a $20 rug to put it on top because I don't have I got all my bicycle stuff at home. I didn't know I was going to buy a bicycle.
I have not been to Martin since my sister. Look,
You got a sister at Weakley County in Martin, Tennessee?
My dad took her there in what year was that? 81?
She's still over there now?
No, she went to school there, and Mom and Dad were having marital problems, and she worked at Tony's Pizza. And to this day, she said, I can't remember that, Kelly. And I said, Kim, I was in 8th grade. I'd go stay with her, and they had that dome pool. I said, Kim, you don't remember shit. But she went to college there. She lived in McCord Hall. She goes, damn, you remember a lot.
Well,
I said, Kim,
I've
my
had
memory-
some problems with the politicians in the area that I live in
Yeah.
because I'm pretty outspoken, and basically I've been banded from all the churches in Northwest Tennessee because of the way that I believe.
Right.
And one of the individuals that had me banded from Central Baptist Church, which is right up there by Westview School, about 2 months ago, he got caught. It was in the paper, TBI, pertaining to him and his daughter and somebody else embezzling about right at about $1 million.
There's so much-
And he was the mayor of Martin, Randy
Yes.
Brundridge.
There's so
Randy
much
Brundridge.
embezzling
But
everywhere.
to think that they're going to judge me and condemn me because of what I believe and what I've been trying to
Yes.
get my message across to people pertaining to Christ.
There's so much embezzling that goes on everywhere. Because somebody in the Murray school system, Jones was his last name. You can look it up. He embezzled so much money, and I don't understand how he did it. It was this with the schools and the
People don't have
computers.
consciousness no more, do they?
Or what?
They don't have consciousness no
Nobody
more.
cares. They don't care.
Well, we're in for a rude awakening with all these wars going on and
You
what
always said that.
and-
Because,
and-
Kelly,
and-
I'm worried about
and what Donald Trump just recently done over there in Venezuela.
Yeah. Well, Hugh said
That may come back and haunt us. You know that, right?
Hugh wasn't worried about dying. He said, I just worry about what the world's going to be like that y'all have to live in. He said that all the time to me. And I was like, don't give me any more.
You know what my friend told me, because I didn't really have a whole lot of people to call on. That's an investigator over in Martin.
Okay,
He told me, he said, Dennis, who's to say that God didn't just get through sparing your son from a whole lot of grief that's coming around the corner?
because you think about all the stuff it says in the Bible about.
Well, rivers are going dry
Yes.
over there in Iran right now. All their water is poisonous. The people are leaving the country. You got problems everywhere right now.
It's true.
China is on a rearing up about Taiwan and the way I understand it, they got some warships heading over there right now, trying to intervene with what Donald Trump's doing with that leader over there. That
And my sister said.
what was that guy's name? Something
My sister
Nicholas
said this
Nicholas.
not too long ago. She
Nicholas
goes, "Why don't we
Mamredo?"
start going to church again?" And I said, Kim, you don't have to go to a building.
No.
And then she goes, well, I said, remember the last time we went to church, you and Mom didn't like something about it. It was too big. The Bellevue Baptist is where we were going. And I'm a member there, but I don't go. And she goes, well, you know more about the Bible than I do. And I said, because we had the kids in a Christian school, and each week we had to learn the verses. And the kids both quit because they wanted to homeschool. I said, but the only
But
thing
that gave you an anchoring
the
system.
only thing my kids missed about school is chapel and Bible class.
Yeah.
They told me. They said, we don't like anything else, but we miss that.
Well,
It's really a lot.
let's pray. Eternal Father God, you know the problems that's going on right now with my sister and her family. I just pray, Lord, that you will continue to touch her, guide her, give her the strength of knowing what type of decision to make, when to make it. And I just pray, Lord, that you will comfort her during the time of her grief pertaining to her loss. We ask these things in Jesus' name, and amen.
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 Thank you.
Amen.
Thank
God
you for
bless
being
you.
a good friend.
God bless you.
Because there's nobody.
Well, I'm grieving stricken right now myself because I've lost my son, and then less than 3 months later, here my first cousin died, and I mean,
It's a lot.
it's like everybody's abandoning us. I feel like an orphanage. I feel like an orphan. Everybody's abandoning us. How come they're leaving before I am?
Go, write my number down, and you call me anytime you want to talk, because I don't care.
You are a blast. I can tell by talking to you that you seem like a very sincere person.
We got to keep living.
Oh, we're gonna make it.
God.
We're gonna make it. We're gonna make it. Matter of fact, right here, my will. I'm gonna have to go and change my will because my son died, and come to find out, I still had everything in his first wife's name. I'm gonna have to change all that now.
Stop it.
Here, you write it down. You left-handed, right-handed?
Yes, left. But do you want it on this?
Yeah, that'd be fine. Because I'm gonna change it over anyway.
Don't worry about anything.
Well, you got a heck of a ring right there. What is that? A 3 diamond?
My husband, he was beautiful.
What is that? A 3 diamond?
3, I don't. He, you know
Good
what?
grief,
I
that's
got mad at him.
That's a
one,
$10,000 piece of rock you got right there on your finger.
He gave me beautiful jewelry,
He did.
and
I can
hey,
tell by looking at him, he's a hard
I
worker.
had an employee
He was a hard
I
worker,
had
wasn't
an
he?
employee steal even my husband's wedding band at our house, and I said, David, we just bought you a truck to get to work, and you're going to take from me? I said, you just had to ask me. You didn't have to steal from me. And he went to my husband's office and said, Kelly's accusing me of stealing.
I run into the
He
same
stole.
problem. I run into the same
I
problem.
had the nicest jewelry.
I run into the same problem. Listen to me. I lost a good friend. She was, 70-something years old. It was time for her to go ahead and check on out. But, they call all the family in. This particular individual was from Chicago, and he owned a pawn shop. Did you know that before the funeral was over with, before they left, they wound up going upstairs and getting into her jewelry and took her jewelry out of her own, I guess it'd be their aunt's house. And did you know the daughter right now says they won't never be allowed to come back in this house again?
Look,
you hate to do people that way, but whenever they're gonna steal from you, that ain't right.
Okay, David had a drug problem. We all knew it. So look, we were in Beckley, West Virginia.
Beckley, West
We're doing
Virginia.
a Hilton remodel.
I know where Wheeling, West Virginia is.
And it was near Morgantown.
Okay, I know where you're
at.
I know where you're at.
I went up to I said to our employees, where's David working? They said, he's on the 4th floor. I went upstairs and I said, you know what, David? You have such a strong ability to do such good work when you're not drinking, that if you could just ever figure that out and quit,
very gifted,
then
very talented.
You did this whole building almost by yourself, and he stole from me. So look, he came to the house one day because we were painting my bedroom and bathroom because we didn't have a job. So I said, David, come to the house, you can help me. And he stole from me. And he came the next day and he goes, what's wrong with you? And I said, I've torn this house apart, torn the whole house apart looking for my jewelry, and you were the last one in here, the only one in here, and you locked the house. I said, that's when he went to the office and said, Hugh, Kelly's accusing me of stealing, and I'm not going to go back and work until she finds her stuff. Well, the police came. He said, honey, quit looking, because my little bunny box that had jewelry in it was out by the trash can, and he had a drop cloth, and he took my stuff out there, and I cried. But my husband was going to replace the jewelry, and I said, that taught me a lesson, that these are just things but it meant a lot to me. Those were my things, and I felt violated. He took my stuff, and I don't want to have stuff that means that much to me. It's only stuff. And then he said, don't worry about it, Kelly. The plumbers came to the house because we had a problem with the hot water tank, and it was leaking, and it drains off the house if something's...
It's got to the point you can't trust nobody no more.
Listen, there was a drip pan. And I folded down the stairs, went up in the attic, and I said, Hugh, the water's this deep, and that's leaking. And he said, call the plumbers. So the plumbers work for us, I know them. And they said, what's wrong, Kelly? I said, have y'all seen David Yeager working anywhere on our job sites? Because we had 3 jobs going. They said, we haven't seen him in a while. But then one of the plumbers looked crazy. I love this guy. He goes, I seen him. I said, where the hell did you see him? He said, we were at the gas station, and he was next door at the pawn shop. I said, what pawn shop? They said, it's the one off of 30. It's like by Halyea, Mississippi, Barton, Mississippi.
Okay.
I said, dear God. So I called the police.
And you go in there, and sure enough.
The police said, honey, you know he stole it. I said, they saw him at the pawn shop. They said, but the pawn shop won't put your beautiful stuff out. They've already given it or sold it to somebody they know. The shit in the case is not going to be your stuff. But you go in there and quietly look to see if any of your, and none of my stuff was there. And I told David, I said, dear, you stay away from me because you took my stuff.
Let me ask you a question about the pawn shops. How come our system allows for something like that to stay in business, knowing good and well what they're doing? Knowing good and well what they're doing, they're taking hot stuff and then selling underground and making money off of it.
Somebody stole a rifle. My husband had guns at a friend's house, and his house was broken into. The pawn guy knew my husband because they were friends. He said, Hugh, right? One of your Weatherby's is down here. I know it's your gun. He said, God bless. He went down there. he only got one back.
If
the
it's
serial
got to
numbers-
do with a gun or
Yes.
ammunition, you're looking at some big time if you get caught. Yeah,
He got his gun back, thank God.
good.
Because he said, Kelly, do you know how I got this Weatherby? He said, hunting out there, and they were not Montana, they were in Colorado. And Colorado at the time had a thing where if you opened a bank account, they'd give you a gun. That
Huh.
was weird for Colorado.
Another way of getting your business. Listen, I gotta go, and it's been a pleasure meeting you, ma'am.
You too.
I mean that.
We
Take care of yourself,
just
Kelly.
have to keep living.
Oh, we're gonna make
The
it.
dog's happy. They're happy.
We're gonna make it. We're gonna make it. We're gonna make it.
I'm not walking her far, and
Huh?
then I'll put her in the car and do my thing.
Hey, call Murray up there at Walmart and see if they got that
I've gotta
bicycle.
call the stupid laundromat.
That's right. You got to
because
call them too.
I forgot everything.
I see ya.